Welcome to the Safari Arie experience with your host, Brandon McCaskill and Arie Hugerberg, otherwise known as Safari Arie.
All right, here we go. We are rolling.
All right, so this is the extended Safari Arie experience. And last time, Brandon actually put me on the hot seat. Real good.
By accident.
Didn't see that one coming. Yeah, by accident, but no, it was all good. It was all good. So actually this show, I'm going to put him a little bit on the hot seat too.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, and full disclosure, he doesn't know what because of what he did to me, he has no idea what I'm about to do to him. Now, mind you, I don't think this is going to be necessarily difficult for someone like Brandon. Actually, he's probably the guy to talk to from my perspective. So I don't think it's going to be that difficult to talk about. But now, it seems really weird to have to do this full disclosure kind of goofiness, but God's going to be talked about here. So whatever, take that as you want. But I think this actually might be a relevant topic for people that don't even believe in God kind of deal. But anyways, just full disclosure, just whatever. Hit stop button or keep watching, whatever. Anyways,
intrigued.
Yeah. So I don't know what was, it's hard to say what's related, what's not related, kind of deal as far as the influences. But, I had a rough 10 days, 11 days kind of just prior to getting to LA.
Right.
A lot of that had to do with Christmas, which is my worst time of the year for me, just personally, whatever, it drags me down. The other one is that, how do I articulate this? Because I didn't even really, it's not like I have notes to go off of, but in particular, when it comes to, let's say, ambition, when it comes to finances, when it comes to a lot of things, not I say a lot of things, but there's certain aspects where I get stressed out quite a bit. Largely with ambition. I have a tremendous amount of ambition in the grand scheme of things. I mean, not as much as some, but a whole lot more than others. And I always want to figure out the angle. I always want to push hard. I'm results oriented.
Yeah.
I don't want to mess around. I don't have time to mess around. Let's come up with a plan and just go with it. And I don't want to stop until it's successful. I guess I don't want to stop until it's successful.
Yeah.
The part that I guess I have the hardest time with is giving the control to God. When the thing is if I have this idea in my head and I just go with it, who am I to assume that that's actually God's plan? But the thing is though, so I may go on this tangent or this idea and he might be going no, that's not what I have for you. I have something completely different. But the thing is it's drilled into me, this ambition and this drive. And at the same time, that there's something to be said about the people that push so hard and they accomplish their goals because of just pure grit. And then the world says, man, well done. I mean, everyone else would have quit here at A and B, and you went all the way, you did not quit. And now the glory is all yours. But the thing is it's okay, I want to give everything control to God, but it's but then I'll click, okay, we'll hit stop record, you go do your thing. And it's okay, right away. It's okay, what do I need to do to, you know what I mean? I'm stressed out in one sense, not stressed out in a bad, I've been on the bike ride, I'm a 47-year-old unemployed truck driver.
Yeah.
So this bike ride basically is financed out of savings, but I'm unemployed. So I have to think about a source of income at some point.
Right.
And I need a passive source of income. And I am frustrated by the fact that I've been on the road for over a year yet I have yet to develop a source of passive income, something that I can trickle in some money. I don't want to rely on donations or this and that. And I already know what my, I mean, not to even go into this, but it's like, I want to do the tree planting and raise seedling trees and yada, 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 down the road. And I don't want to be diverted from that, because I feel that is my passion. But that is separate from having some kind of passive source of income. Like, for example, you wrote a book. The book is written, it's on Amazon. So technically, the money that comes back to you from those book sales is your passive source of income. Now, you might not get rich because it's a Christmas book or whatever, but technically that is an example of the past. You wrote the book, it's on Amazon. Let's just assume you paid the bills, you're broke even. So now every book you sell moving into the future for the next 30 years is your passive source of income. I don't have that. And I've been on the road 14 months and I'm frustrated and stressed that I can't seem to get that together. Now that's just an example. That's not what this show is about. I'm not trying to, but it's like, but there'll be a lot of people to say like, dude, this is your experience. This is your ride. Just ride your ride and don't worry about that kind of stuff. But they don't, what they don't understand is that I can't help but not think about these kinds of things because that's just who I am. Everything I look through, like everything I look at in life, period, I always look through an entrepreneurial lens. So I'm looking at my ride going, well, how do I maximize? How do I do this? How do I do that? How do I do? But it's like, well, where am I leaving it to God's hands to do? But the thing is he's not at you, but we're not meant to sit on a couch and just wait for it to fall in our lap. So, and the thing is that what people don't realize, and it's funny because it's like, believe me, I respect you for who you are and how you do things, but you're this 9 to 5, Monday to Friday guy. Like I can't even imagine living a life Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, meaning that at 5 o'clock, you shut your computer down and you're 100% family man. Meaning Saturday, Sunday comes, you're 100% family man. Like I completely respect that. And I'll be the first to admit that my drivenness probably largely comes out of my brokenness because I don't feel sufficient enough to be able to say like, hey, you know what? These are my priorities. And I have that strength to release everything else. Like basically, I'm going to interpret here, but I'm pretty sure that basically you're able to be that 9 to 5 guy Monday through Friday, and after 5 and Saturday, Sunday, be 100% family man because you have a strength in you that gives you peace that I don't have to worry about I don't have to worry about this in my life. And I don't have to worry about that because God's got it.
No, that's,
you know what I mean?
Hit the nail on the head. That's my strategy.
Okay. But the thing is, like I said, as soon as this video is over, I'm going to work. You know what I mean? Like when I got a roof over my head, 99% of the time, I do not go to bed before 3 a.m. Because the thing is, I don't know, and that's the thing, unrelated, but it's like, I don't even know when my next host is in America. I may have to go to Mexico for my next, because I don't really have anything else lined up. And then we're also in the middle of this pandemic or whatever. But it's like, like I said, I went from Berkeley all the way here with no single stop. There's no place to charge my batteries, or you can't sit anywhere to work. You can't do anything. And so I have no idea. But the thing is for me, every single day, I'm going to say an average of 3 hours worth of work piles. Like I do about 30, I think it averages about 30 hours a week in documenting. I've been at this host for 6 days. And the way I've kind of articulated on occasion to people, it's like, and these guys and these people are amazing. And they're actually, they really enjoy the fact that I'm here. And I know that I can tell, like we get along really well, but and I've had this with other hosts, like on Vancouver Island, and they were like, stay for Thanksgiving dinner. And it's like, or Thanksgiving weekend in Canada. It's like, I said, do you realize tomorrow I will be here 6 days? If your friends or your family called you up and said, hey, surprise, we're coming for 6 days, you'd freak out. I stay places regularly for 6 days and I can barely keep up. And I'm there for 6 days. don't get me wrong. I mean, we did a trip to LA. They spent the day. We did a road trip all around the greater LA. And last night we did another, we go here, there every once in a while. But I mean, like, and I spend my time with them because I mean, when I'm at a host, its priority is, and my time here has been awesome. Yeah. But of course they've got their lives and I've got my own personal space down here. So when the conversation is over or whatever, which is for the most part, good part of the day, it's like I'm in front of my computer to the point I burn out, but I'm just like, I am here till I'm on my computer till like 3 a.m. every single morning because it's like, I can't, if I don't get this work done, like, it's not like, oh, I'll do it in 6 months. No, because in 6 months I'm going to be in San Diego. I'll do it 6 months. No, because in 6 months later I'll be in Mexico. And I mean, I see so much, I have to keep up because, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's enough to keep up, but then I can't even get anything else done. And that's like, to see how like,
it's you're taking on the
world.
Safari
Arie is taking on the world. He's got problems.
Well, I'm trying to see how I can relate to this, but because those of you who don't know, I started in construction. I used to build houses for 7 to 8 years. I was doing some form of construction, and I always wanted to do voiceover, which is something I do now. And it was probably, I would say, 2 years in the process of me transitioning from that trade to what I'm doing now, where I wasn't up till 3 a.m, but understand, like, I was putting in the grind, like after work, covered in sweat, covered in mud, have a shower, jump right in the studio. I was there for another 5 hours. Didn't see my family a lot. So there's something to be said about and appreciated about those who do put in the grind and who are trying to make things work, because it does amount to something eventually. And it's not something that you'll see right away. Like right now, I have the luxury of being done at 5 o'clock, like you're saying, but that's not how it always used to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But at least you actually knew when to turn the switch. Like,
yeah. And I think,
I would work 14 hours a day for the next 8 years, solid straight. The thing is though, is I'm aware, like I burnt, like when I was in the truck, I was working 80, 90 hours a week. Yeah. I burn out multiple times a year. Yeah. And that's the other part of my story is I go pedal to the metal on a project to the point I burn out. And then I'll put 1,000 hours into something. Yeah. And then I burn out and I just walk away because I'm just too tired of it. It's like, nope, nope, another dead end. That was not what I was supposed to do. Yeah. And then something else will come up and I'll put in 1,000 hours into that and I'll burn myself out and I'll walk away. Like that's the thing is I have a complete history of just putting 1,000 hours into something and then just walking away. Now, part of it's I like new experiences, so it's like been there, done it. Now I want the new experience. But it's like the reality is I mean, I don't want to sound like a sad story kind of deal, but in a way, I have like from like I'm 47 years old, and I have a home in Belize, which is actually my biggest pain in my butt because it costs me like $1,000 a month in maintenance. Literally, because it's the jungle and it just keeps growing and growing. Wow. But it's like, yes, I have a home in Belize, but I mean, it's not like, oh, hey, it's a great investment. I'm going to sell my home in Belize someday because it's in the middle of the jungle. I have a home where 99.9% of the world, I mean, yes, they would say, oh, you have a home in the tropics. Yeah. Would you like to live there? Oh, I'd love to, really, because I guarantee you in 2 weeks, you're going to wonder where the heck the Walmart is. And you're going to say, this was a great vacation, but I got to go home to all my conveniences. So yes, I have a home in Belize, but from an investment perspective, no one's going to buy it. Okay. And so basically all I have is my small savings to get me to Argentina and maybe to my home in Belize, and which I'll be doing at 50. And so by the time I get there to Belize at 50, for all intent and purposes, at the rate I'm going, I'll have this much money in my bank account. At 50, this much. Like, you know what I mean? Like, not a great situation, which is fine, whatever. I mean, we all choose our lifestyles, whatever. But it's like, and I mean, let's face it, part of the reason that by the time this ride is over, that for the most part my bank account will be empty, is because of lifestyle choices, of bad ones. Yes, I've made tons of financial mistakes. But that's the thing is so now, so that adds to it. So it's like, I'm going to be 50 when this bike ride is over, and I've got nothing lined up. So all of a sudden the panic level starts. It's like, okay, I have to take control. You know what I mean? Like, I can't trust God to do this for me, because you know what I mean? Because unless he's going to zap the lightning down and put a pile of money in front of me right. I don't, how do I know that I'll be taken care of? You know what I mean? Like how do I know? Like,
here's a deeper question. How do you know, like, for example, how do you know that God's called you to be on this bike ride? And would he want to bless you with money to keep you there if it's not where you're supposed to be?
Well, it's actually a really good question. I think I actually do 100%. That actually does. There is an aspect, and that's where the thing is. Like, I got to remind myself, like, dude, you realize what's going on here. Like, I 100% believe. Actually, 100% believe that I am meant to be like right actually in the seat right now. I mean, if you've watched the way the ride, for the people watching, the way this ride has progressed, and the stories that have happened, like, I don't like for me, it's like, when it comes to like people that don't believe in God, it's like, if you've watched the way my ride has progressed and the people that I have met and the stories I have, it's like if there isn't a God, I don't know how these, like people, like, they like to thank the universe as if the universe cares about them. You know what I mean? The universe is stars and matter and iron and whatever the heck is up there. I don't know, whatever, but like, I don't know who the universe is, but if you can't, from my ride, the people that I came across, and it's just like, well, to me, it's like, well, I truly 100% believe that God has been with me on this entire ride. I mean, you just have to see how safe he's kept me in the places he's put me in, with the people that I've connected with. And so I do actually truly 100% believe that, that he's with me on the ride. But I'm the guy that still has to do the pedaling. He's not going to do the pedaling for me.
That's right. That's a good analogy.
You know what I mean? And so that's why it's like, I have this moment, this in my life, and it's like, well, what should I be doing? What's the best way to spend my moment? I mean, beyond the pedaling kind of deal.
It's just a measure of faith, I guess. Each step is just like, I'm going to take it, trusting that the outcome is going to be, within the parameters of God's will. Yet, I'm having trouble even articulating this.
Dude, I was counting on you.
I know. No, and
I've been rambling, but I'm looking to you for an answer.
I don't have all the answers. I hardly have any of the answers, but because I'm still figuring it out. But I think in terms of talking about achieving your goals and achieving your success, or whatever you want to call it, obviously we all have different standards for success. I know people that will work to the bone, even though, their bills are being covered, and they're just trying to afford that next level of living, right? So it's like, we got to figure out what's our standard of success. Like my standard of success is being able to see my family after 5 o'clock, and I'm the richest man alive if I'm able to do that. Like, that's more than anything else.
Sure. Okay.
So I think there's something about defining what that means for you as individuals.
So that's the thing is I don't really know what that is, and I think because I guess the thing that I've become aware of in my life, because I've got a few years experience under my belt, is that, I mean, that's the thing when it comes to drivenness, especially. And then the thing is, if people are watching, there's a lot of us out there that are driven. And the thing is a lot of us will use the excuse, oh, I'm doing this for my family. I'm doing this for this. I'm doing this for that. The truth of the matter is the drivenness comes out of brokenness. There is no, it's like, don't say that you're doing whatever ABC for your family when it takes you away from your family. Now, yes, there are some legitimate, especially right now with, people, employment, this and that they literally have to work 14 hours a day just to pay the rent.
Yeah.
But if your rent is paid and there's food on the table, you know what I mean? And you are driving a BMW and you still need to go to work to pay for your kids do not need a BMW. I'm sorry if I just pissed off a lot of people, but it's just, the thing is, no, but it's just like, I see, like, I mean, obviously I'm on the road. I see a lot of fancy cars. I used to do reptile shows for kids' birthday parties, and I'd show up in Oakville and Mississauga, and there'd be BMWs in the driveway. And I'm thinking about when I was a kid, it was always a beater car. And it's like, these kids are being raised with their parents having BMWs in the driveway. And it's like, how are these kids supposed to appreciate or understand what struggle means? Yeah. And but the thing is, it's like, and I mean, that's the thing is you have the situation where both parents are working to pay the bills, but there's a BMW in the driveway. Yeah. So don't tell me you're doing this for your family, because your family does not need a BMW. Yeah. Your ego may need a BMW. Your drivenness may need a BMW, but your family does not need. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I've just seen, and sometimes you see the reality shows where, like say ice road truckers, and they're like, I leave my family for 6 months every year to do ice road trucking, and I do it for my family. It's like, no, you don't do it for your family, because you do it, like, just be honest. You're doing it for yourself because you love it. Yeah. If you can just be honest with yourself for a minute, just say, actually, the truth of the matter is I'm a workaholic because I love it. Now, you might want to ask yourself why you love it, because like I said, it's a drivenness that usually comes out of brokenness, but it's where you get your validation. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I'm on this ride and I have followers and I get lots of comments. Yeah. So that those comments validate, like, you know what I mean? They validate me. It's when the drivenness, whatever, being a workaholic, whatever it is that comes from that, whether you've the feeling of success or the praise of your boss or whatever. Yeah. It's because of the search for validation. Yeah. You know what I mean? So just like I said, it's not that there aren't people that don't work 14 hours a day for their family, because they have to. If they don't, they can't turn the lights on. But just don't say you're doing this for your family when there's a BMW in the driveway, because your family doesn't need a BMW. Yeah. They just I don't know. Like I said, I probably just pissed off a lot of people, but
BMW fans.
Yeah, I know. I mean, whatever, Mercedes, whatever, Lexus, whatever. Like a Toyota Echo will do the same job.
Well, then there's the group of people that are kind of forced away from their families because, like, their boss is demanding them do extra hours.
Sure.
Like,
yes. No. You're right. You're right.
You don't get superiority if you don't take these weekend hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So sometimes people are in a position where it's just like,
yeah, and that's a whole other category, for sure. And I'm definitely not speaking to those people. Yeah. But then at the same time, I guess, if someone said, well, this is my situation, I guess if I had to kind of give fly on the wall advice, I would say, well, get your finances in order in a situation where, you can put yourself in a position to actually exit that job sooner than later. Don't try to thank your wife for allowing you to keep the boss happy by buying her a BMW that now you have to go make payments for. You know what I mean? Shrink your expenses down to a point where you've got them down to a bare minimum, where instead of having to work under those kinds of conditions for the next 5 or 10 years to get ahead, you can actually walk away. Because I don't think that's we weren't designed for that. I don't think that would be God's will, that you're working for a company that is separating you from your family, which means you're probably, maybe you have to be there for a season, maybe, but be mindful of that. Maybe this is just for a season, and how do I get myself out of this position?
Yeah. Well,
That's kind of a whole other
our entire workforce is designed in a competition structure where it's like, if you don't outperform the other person, then you're not in the boss's favor. I just remember working in the restaurant industry, and I was the one taking the extra shifts, and I was single at the time, obviously, so I could sometimes taking 16 hours more than I was scheduled for that week. And to contrast that with people who are in my position now, where we do have a family and we just want to live that standard 40-hour a week, that's enough for us. We just want to be able to see our family. So our system is set up in a way where it's just like it's working against us in a sense. You know what I'm saying? So that is a struggle. I could see that.
Yeah. I don't know if my question's been answered though.
Well, what was your initial question? How do you determine?
Well, just like where do you find the peace? Like where I mean, where like to that ability just to and I have, don't get me wrong, there's, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, this ride has forced, I mean, when I was driving a truck, by law, you can't work more than 70 hours. I work between 80 and 90. There are certain ways to finagle that. But basically, when I worked in a truck, basically you worked 14 hours a day. Yeah. And as crazy as it sounds to the average person, you think 14 hours, nobody works 14 hours a day. And it's like, well, not only did you work 14 hours a day, but absolutely every single minute counted.
Yeah.
Every single minute.
Yeah.
I only ate an average of one meal a day. I only had an average of maybe 2 showers a week.
Yeah.
Okay. Because like when it came to meals, it's like, I actually like, it's funny because there's been some comments, whatever, about, I used to use Gatorade bottles to pee in.
Yeah.
Okay. whatever. I'm just saying, like, don't get me wrong. They never ended up on the road. They always ended up in the garbage. Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, I'm just trying to make a point. In those 14 hours, my time was so important. Every single minute was so important that I never took the time to walk to a washrooms. Okay. That took way too, like I peed in a Gatorade bottle to save time. You know what I mean? And then at night, it's like in regards to like, and then a lot of times by working that many hours, I would be so hyped up at night, I didn't even have an appetite. So a lot of times I didn't even eat. Yeah. And then the thing is, like, in regards to like, 2 showers, it's like, because it's like, I have to work 14 hours again tomorrow and I'm driving a truck, which means my first priority is safety and I need sleep. So what's going to keep me alive tomorrow? A shower tonight or sleep? It's like, well, sleep, of course. So basically I would give up the showers to get as much sleep as I possibly could. So anyways, point is 14 hours a day, every single minute of that 14 hours counted, whether you believe it or not. And part of the reason that is because in a truck, I don't have the luxury of going home at whatever hour and, doing this or doing that or taking this day off or taking that day off, or like my weekend started Saturday night at 9:30 p.m. Most people's weekend starts Friday afternoon or whatever. Mine started Saturday night, 9:30 p.m. and I'd be back on the road Monday morning at 9:30 a.m., 36 hours. That was my weekend. So the thing is if I'm going to live this lifestyle of, of 14 hours a day with a 36-hour break off kind of deal, then I am going, like, if I'm going to be stuck on the road and have to sacrifice this and sacrifice that and give up this and no funerals, no weddings, no whatever, no parties, not that that's really part of my lifestyle, but if I have to give all that up, then I am going to work every single minute that I possibly can to get a paycheck for every single minute that I possibly can to you know what I mean? Because And so, but anyways, point was transitioning then on the bike ride, it's like, it takes an hour and a half for me to break camp and make breakfast. Yeah. And it takes me like an hour and a half to make supper and set up camp. Yeah. Like when I was in a truck, I was on the road within 5 minutes kind of deal. I was like 5 minutes. I was, you know what I mean? But on the bike, it's like hour and a half to set up camp, hour and a half to take down. Like I'm pedaling at like 10, 11 kilometers an hour. You want to talk about extremes. Yeah. And so there's an aspect where it's like in many ways, it's like I have slowed right down in the grand scheme of things. But there are still parts of me that the ambition is, it just doesn't turn off. It's just like, okay, what, just the ambition just doesn't turn off. There is still a drivenness.
Yeah. And I think drivenness can be wasted if there's no end goal in mind.
Mm-hmm.
Where like, I'm just thinking of when I made the transition from working full-time building houses to what I'm doing now, there was a good year I had of putting savings away. That was my goal, to be able to have a financial pillow, if you will, to be able to make that transition comfortably, where I could, hit the ground running when I came in. So if we're hitting the grindstone and there's and we're just spending it and we're not, putting it away to get to a different situation in our life, and then it's basically all for nothing. I mean, some people are forced to do that because that's just the nature of their job. Like you were saying, you were a truck driver. That's what they have to deal with. But that's the reason I probably would never be a truck driver, just because I know that would be, in my eyes, unhealthy, relationship wise, socially, probably a list of different reasons why I wouldn't.
Hey.
Oh, you're busy. Okay.
Yeah, no, just give me a few minutes.
You can call when you're done.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, my host.
That's the host.
Yeah, I guess they had to run some errands this morning.
Oh yeah.
And I guess they just got home, kind of deal.
He's the new co-star for this show.
Yeah. No, he's actually, it's honestly my time. It's the thing is with the hosting, it's been pretty much amazing, awesome anywhere I go.
Yeah.
But no, it's actually been really, really nice here. It's kind of a paradise. It isn't.
Cool.
It's. I mean, yeah. So, some of the situation scenarios that I find myself in is just mind-boggling. Like you're saying, like like Scott in the ride or this and that. It's just
he takes care of you as you go.
Oh yeah, no, and and I don't. Maybe that's. I don't know. Maybe that's what I got to focus on a little bit more, in the sense that, even like, I mean, I did have a rough 13 days, but we were in the middle of this pandemic or whatever, but 13 days later, I'm like in a paradise in the grand scheme of things. And that's, and that's the thing, is if you've been following the ride, I mean, obviously more so in Canada than the US, but it's just like some of the places I've landed have been just such a blessing. Like it's just, and I do reflect on that, and it's sometimes it's also a challenge, because it's like some of the situations that I've found myself in, as far as receiving a place from people, or like just receiving whatever, it's just, there's an aspect where it's like overwhelming. And it's like, and the thing is it's like, but I kind of go from one experience to the next, and actually, you know what, and it's something else I sort of struggle with, is it's like, because we're all like, because that's the thing is I'm always got this internal battle, and it's like, I kind of feel like there's an aspect where it's just like, I'm simply not good enough. But these people keep blessing me. And the thing is, but then it's like, I get further down the road, and it's like, okay, like I should be a better person, not because they did this, but it's like, it almost feels like I owe these people that have been blessing me on this ride, like, because it just, the blessings, they just keep coming and coming and coming. And it's like, then I'm like asking myself, well, am I like a better person? Like, did I earn it? Actually, it's funny, like, and it just popped in my head, like Saving Private Ryan, when Hanks is about to die, and Matt Damon's there, and he's like he's like, earn this. Yeah. Earn this. And it's like, and I'm just, actually, it's funny, because I'm just like, it's kind of hitting me right now. It's like, these people keep blessing me, and it's like, have I earned it? You know what I mean? It's like, right now, that's what's coming to my head. I'm just seeing that movie, Tom Hanks going, like, under his, just because he's like about to die, and he's like, earn this. Yeah. Earn this. Wow. And so, it's these are the things I think about. But anyways, maybe that's where we should just, because I think we're probably, maybe that's where we need to.
Yeah, I kind of get so caught up in hearing your story that I don't know what to talk about next. But no, maybe I'll just maybe finish on this. You're talking about generosity and just kind of walking, and it seems like you're just kind of stepping out in faith, not really knowing what tomorrow is going to hold, and these people are taking care of you.
That's true enough.
And
I
like,
have no idea.
I can relate. Like you know my story better than anybody watching probably. That back in April when my son was having his liver transplant in Toronto, my wife and I were just kind of panicking for all reasons, health wise. We didn't financially know what we were going to do, and just a long list of things. And we got through it. We're here, and the story of how we went to Toronto, and we didn't know the rules of COVID at that time. Everything was pretty new about the restrictions and everything, and we weren't allowed to go into the hospital together with him. It was just one parent at a time. And then we found out that our arrangements for where we were going to stay weren't available because of COVID. So here I was with all our stuff 3 hours away from home, like all the stuff on top of our car, and not knowing where we were going to sleep that night. And then within probably 25 minutes, I get a phone call from a stranger to me, but a friend of a friend, just happened to live down the road, for $4,000 a night. Sorry, not a night, a month, rental unit that was sitting empty. He said, we heard the trouble that you guys are facing, and we'd like to let you guys stay there. So it's just like little things like that just
That was a
happened.
$4,000 apartment for free.
Yeah. No, and we stayed there for a month and a half. So there's something to say about just kind of taking that next step forward without knowing where it's going to lead, and just trusting.
Yeah, that's probably my biggest issue though, is the trusting part.
Yeah.
Because is the trusting part. And
I think sometimes if we're just, I know the Bible talks about just being still. I think what's that verse? Be still and know that I'm God. Like if we sometimes if we just kind of shut the brain down and just be like,
so
God, show me.
Thing is I don't know how to do that.
It's meditation, I guess, or.
Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously pedaling, I can, the pedaling aspect of things is obviously I get that. I get that benefit throughout the day, but it's just, like I said, my brain doesn't really shut off for a lot of things. And I'm just kind of, there is an exhaustion to it. It's exhausting.
Mm-hmm.
It's exhausting. Never, it's just exhausting not knowing if this is the right path or the wrong path, or it's exhausting not knowing. There's an aspect where it's exhausting, but I mean, that's the thing is everyone out there, everyone wants, like, we all have struggles, you know what I mean? Like we can't just stop doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The world just we live in a world that just simply does not allow you just to stop doing what you're doing, kind of deal. But
yeah. One of my ways that you can call it meditate or whatever you want, but like my mechanism or my strategy for slowing down is listening to music. Every morning just before I start work, I'm just always playing worship music on a loop, and it just calms me down and gets my mind clear. And I would have to credit that little ritual that I do for a lot of the successes, if you want to call it that. Very, very helpful.
All right. Well, we're getting
we're getting too personal.
Yeah. All right.
No,
that was good. All
right. We'll cut it here, guys. Thanks for watching.
If you watch this long, appreciate it.
Yeah, if you watch this long, appreciate it. Hit the subscribe button, share it with your friends, and we'll catch you later.
Yep.
Bye.